Body Language for Dummies is a practical non-fiction guide that explains how to understand and interpret non-verbal communication in everyday and professional life. Written by body language expert Elizabeth Kunke, the book covers facial expressions, posture, gestures, eye contact, personal space, and vocal cues, showing how these signals reveal emotions, intentions, and attitudes. The fourth edition includes updated research, real-world examples, and clear explanations to help readers read others more accurately, improve their own body language, and communicate with confidence in situations such as meetings, interviews, negotiations, and social interactions.
You Say More Than You Think by Janine Driver, co-written with Mariska van Alst, is a practical and research-based guide that explains how body language and non-verbal signals influence communication more than spoken words. Drawing on real-world examples from business, politics, and everyday life, the book teaches readers how to quickly read gestures, facial expressions, posture, and tone to understand true intentions and emotions. Structured as a 7-day plan, it provides clear, actionable techniques to improve confidence, detect deception, build trust, and gain influence in personal and professional interactions. Rather than relying on guesswork, the book focuses on observable behavioral cues and proven principles, making it a useful resource for anyone who wants to communicate more effectively and make smarter decisions by understanding what people are really saying without words. Without Saying a Word by Kasia Wazowski and Patrick Wazowski is a non-fiction book focused on the science and practical application of body language and non-verbal communication. Drawing on research from psychology, neuroscience, and behavioral science, the authors explain how gestures, posture, facial expressions, eye contact, and micro-behaviors influence how people are perceived in professional and personal situations. The book provides real-world examples and actionable techniques to help readers improve confidence, credibility, leadership presence, and interpersonal effectiveness, making it especially relevant for business professionals, leaders, negotiators, and anyone who wants to communicate more effectively without relying solely on spoken words. The Silent Language of Leaders by Carol Kinsey Goman is a leadership and communication book that explains how body language, non-verbal signals, and physical presence directly influence leadership effectiveness. Drawing on research from psychology, neuroscience, and real-world executive coaching, the book shows how gestures, posture, eye contact, facial expressions, personal space, and tone can either build trust, confidence, and authority, or silently damage credibility and relationships. Goman explains how leaders can consciously align their non-verbal behavior with their message, adapt body language across cultures and genders, and read unspoken signals in meetings, negotiations, and presentations. With practical examples and actionable insights, the book highlights that leadership is not defined only by what is said, but by the silent language leaders communicate every day through their behavior. What Everybody Is Saying is a non-fiction book by former FBI counterintelligence agent Joe Navarro, written with Marvin Carlins, PhD, that focuses on understanding human behavior through non-verbal communication. Drawing on Navarro's real-world experience in interviewing, interrogation, and behavioral analysis, the book explains how body language, such as facial expressions, posture, gestures, and subconscious movements, can reveal thoughts, emotions, and intentions that people often do not express verbally. It emphasizes practical observation over rigid rules, teaching readers how context, comfort, and stress influence behavior and how to read clusters of signals rather than isolated gestures.
Widely used by professionals and general readers alike, the book is recognized for making behavioral science accessible and applicable to everyday situations like business, relationships, and personal interactions.
Emotions Revealed by Paul Ekman is a scientifically grounded book that explains how human emotions work and how they are expressed through facial expressions, voice, and body language. Drawing on decades of Ekman's research in psychology and behavioral science, the book identifies basic universal emotions, such as happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, and disgust, and explains how they are biologically innate yet shaped by culture and personal experience. Ekman introduces concepts like microexpressions, emotional triggers, and emotional regulation, showing how emotions arise, how they influence decision-making and relationships, and how they can be better understood and managed. The book is widely used in psychology, communication, leadership, and counseling contexts, and is written in a practical, accessible style while remaining firmly rooted in empirical research. The Definitive Book of Body Language by Alan and Barbara Pease is a comprehensive guide that explains the science behind human gestures, expressions, and nonverbal signals, showing how body language influences communication, relationships, confidence, persuasion, and social interactions. Drawing on research from psychology, biology, and communication studies, the authors break down common postures, hand movements, facial expressions, and unconscious behaviors to reveal what people truly mean, how intentions can be interpreted more accurately, and how mastering body language can improve personal and professional success. The Dictionary of Body Language by former FBI Special Agent Joe Navarro is a comprehensive research-based field guide that explains over 400 nonverbal behaviors, revealing how gestures, facial expressions, posture, and subtle physical cues communicate emotions, intentions, comfort, and stress in everyday interactions. Drawing from decades of behavioral observation and interrogation experience, Navarro breaks down each signal with clarity, showing what it means, why the body behaves that way, and how context shapes interpretation, making this book an essential reference for understanding human behavior, improving communication, and accurately reading people in professional and personal settings.